Hello. This week's focus is from the Future of London conference. It's an event which is organised by 20 of the capital's leading regeneration projects, housing-led projects, most of them council-based. We've had a whole array of speakers talking about the future of housing regeneration. Plainly, the credit crunch has been very much part of it. Indeed, the last session, which I chaired, we had speakers from the Olympic Delivery Authority, London Development Agency, talking about their projects, and also Mayor Boris Johnson talking a little bit about how he was changing London to the better. The subject matter was obviously extremely topical. There's a general sense from today's seminar that there is a sea change in attitudes to housing. There's a view that eventually things will get better, maybe in the next couple of years when the credit crunch is over and the economy picks up. But one thing is certain, is that the face of housing provision will not be the same again. There will be less reliance on private sector housing, private sector ownership that is, less reliance on what we've seen before of large numbers of city centre, high-rise buy-to-let flats because the demand has dropped. All this, of course, links in very much with the big issues this week about the government's commitment to solving and trying to prevent a recession by sinking large quantities of public money into the economy, particularly in areas like housing and some of the big infrastructure projects. Indeed, the MJ this week will be looking very much at what the implications are for local government. There's been quite a lot of coverage as well on the fact that despite this week's latest public finance figures, which again show increasing gap between the provision of public sector finance, increasing gaps between the income and outgoings, if you like. The government nonetheless has decided that the way of getting out of the recession is to increase spending, certainly in the short term. And that's very much the issue for this week. And as I said, this conference in particular has been looking at some aspects of that, particularly the housing investment. We're obviously interested from MJ and local gov at what the implication is for local government. And indeed, I've done a comment this week venturing to suggest that some people within local government may be slightly puzzled as to how it is they could find £800 billion to invest in the banks, but for local government it was always, the mantra was always that there's no money left, cupboard is bare. Plainly, local government has a huge impact on its respective local economies, and one wonders whether or not the Treasury mandarins and indeed the CLG might have a look at that and see whether they themselves could perhaps look at some of the borrowing requirements, change some of the fiscal rules so that local government itself may also contribute to some of this Keynesian spend and try and avoid the recession, which is certainly what the government and everybody else wants to see happening. Thank you very much.